Hello, motivators. Timothy McCain here. And thank you for listening to another podcast here at TMMotivations. If you're not yet subscribed, make sure you are. And just take a few moments to do that right now. We give a lot of great information. My heart for this platform is to be in a waste of hope in a desert of hopelessness. All of us walk through hard times, difficult times. All of us will have some good days as well as some bad days. All of us will walk through rain, you know what I mean? And I just want this channel to be a place where you will be encouraged, strengthened, challenged, renewed, transformed, so you can be the best version of you possibly can be. The topic I want to ask you today, is simply this: do you have roaches? We are a day away from Thanksgiving here in 2019. And many people will gather around their tables and they will talk about things they are thankful for. It's moments where businesses are closed for at least half of the day. Many people are off of work. Things have slowed down for many people. And they get around the table. Maybe it's something that they only do in 2 days, two days of the year, Thanksgiving and Christmas, where they'll gather around the table and they will reminisce and talk about some things they are thankful for. And this is important. Philippians talks about whatever is true, whatever is noble, et cetera, et cetera. It continues to say, and then it ends with think about such thing. It's important to take moments that you will pause and give thanks for everything that has happened in your life. We can be so busy and so in love with the grind and chasing after the next, or we could be so busy with just trying to get our head above the water, you know what I mean, or try to sustain the things that we have. Maybe you're working and grinding just to continue to keep the lights on in the house. You know what I'm saying? The struggle is real. But it's a moment where people will pause and say, okay, yeah, I know I've been talking about the things I need. I know I've been talking about the things I still want. I know I've been talking about and grinding for the things I feel like I desire. But let me pause right now and let me think about the things that I'm thankful for. When's the last time you paused and you were thankful for the roof over your head? When was the last time you paused thankful that there's breath in your body, that you can that if you have functioning limbs, that you are in a place where you have feet that you can walk? You know what I'm saying? When was the last time you paused and gave thanks or reminisced and appreciated? And I believe, man, everybody should definitely travel and go overseas and spend time, and maybe even here in the States, spend times in a demographic or a place that's different than what you have. And so sometimes it's a shock. It's a shock to the system. Said, man, I don't have it as bad as I thought I did. So I want to ask you this question today, because maybe you don't carry this way of thinking throughout the rest of your year. Maybe it's just a moment you pause that you're thankful. But what if you typically walk around with a negative mindset? You're always complaining. You're always talking about the things you don't have. You're always talking about your problem. Whatever you magnify, you manifest. And I'm not talking about ignoring your issues. I'm not talking about acting like it's not there. I'm not talking about putting the bill back in the mailbox. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about your traditional and consistent thought process and words. All of us should walk in a spirit of gratitude, an attitude of gratitude, and be thankful for the things that we have. But to be thankful doesn't mean you shouldn't be hungry. Obviously, you aspire for more. You aspire for greater. You have dreams and aspirations in your life, and which you should. But I want to ask you this question, because I just want to encourage you. Don't let this be a Thanksgiving thing. Don't let this only be a moment where you pause and you're thankful and you're nice to people and you're positive just on Thanksgiving. Let this be your everyday life. Listen, I believe that a negative tongue is like an infestation of roaches. I believe a negative mindset, and I'm not talking about pessimism or like what you just, or realism or optimism. I think those may carry different needs in different times. I'm talking about where you feel like every single time you open your mouth is always talking about what's not going right. Where you're sick. Every time you open your mouth, you talk about how sick you are. Every time if you're broke, every time you open your mouth, you talk about how broke you are. If you're lonely, every time you open your mouth, you talk about how lonely you are. And again, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with verbalizing these things, but whatever you magnify, you manifest. You are what you eat. So if you're eating 3 times a day, 5-course meals of what you don't have, then you're literally being full. Your appetite is being met, being full of yourself and full of your problems. But I want to read to you. It's one of the chapters of my book. This is your chance. I want to read you a section of a chapter called "Deserts and Mountains." The thing about it is, our deserts will teach us things our mountaintops never could, and you definitely got to pick up this book. And this is a moment where there was God told Moses get some people and tell them to survey the land. And there's a group of people, and they came back with two different perspectives. One was exciting that, hey, we'll go, we can do this. And other ones was like, man, we can't. We're just grasshoppers. We're nobodies. And so here it is. The harsh reality is that our words will get us in trouble and in places that we can't get ourselves out of. After everything they went through, they would not be allowed to go in the promised land. In fact, God told Moses to turn everyone around, and they circled around in the wilderness, not with a destination in mind, but with a goal. All the people who had the stinky thinking had to be removed from the equation. The desert and the wilderness that God took them through became a sifting process that left them lighter but brighter. When all is said and done, the only ones left would be Moses, Caleb, and Joshua. As hard as this is to believe, the Lord knew he had to clean the house. Even though they were physically freed from slavery, they were still thinking in bondage. God had to turn the plane around and put it in a holding pattern until it was safe to land. There was baggage in the minds of the unbelieving and lazy that couldn't take into the promised land. They had roaches in their homes, which bred quicker than they could spray them. If God didn't deal with the infestation, there would be an invitation to the same mindset in their new homes. And the land flowing with milk and honey, roaches would come out the baggage and lifestyle that they didn't clean out. When you are stepping into your promise, you will at some point experience the same kind of separation. The truth of the matter is that some people, mindsets, and behaviors that don't belong in your present day. Sadly, it is a struggle. It is the struggle of not wanting to let go because we feel we owe our yesterday for where we are today. But there is a difference between being thankful and being indebted. God uses deserts to bring people into a life that and remove people from your life. Complaining, gossip, slander, and other toxic behaviors will destroy everything they touch, including your hopes and dreams. That's just a little segment. Listen, this book, I'm telling you, y'all, this book, this is your chance. You got to order it right now. Thisisyourchance.com. Thisisyourchancebook.com. Get it right now. I'm telling you, it's going to revolutionize and change your life. But you hear what I was talking about, family. It's God was going to bring them to the promised land, but if he did not spend time in the wilderness, where mindsets died out, where excuses died out, they would have bring those roaches, right? So listen, if you have roaches in your house, if you have an infestation in your house, and you pack all your bags, let me get out of this house. You pack all your bags and move to another house, but you don't deal with the roaches. You're not fixing the problem. You're just transitioning it to another place. So the problem with the roaches sometimes is not the house, it's the things. It's not the house, it's the things. And so much time that we will beat ourselves up as the temples and we're like, man, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me as the house? When actually we need to give attention to our things, our mind, our tongue, our speech. You know what I'm saying? It's those roaches that we will bring no matter whatever place we may be in. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're in the richest of places or the poorest of places, if your mindset doesn't change, if your word doesn't change, you bring the same infestation through it. If God brings you out of a cardboard box and places you into a mansion, but you don't change yourself before you get there, you don't get rid of the roaches before you get there, then you're going to bring the same problems. This is so true in many, many, many different areas of life, and you've seen it. Maybe you have experienced it, where if you have been through many, many relationships, boyfriends and girlfriends that hasn't worked out, or maybe some of your marriages that hasn't worked out, and you're so busy pointing at the other person like, man, if they didn't do this, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. But maybe if you take a step back and you realize that you've been picking the same type of people with different faces, the same type of personality, different faces. And maybe maybe you've been blaming them, but you are bringing roaches in every single relationship. Because you haven't handled the unforgiveness, so you haven't handled the crisis, you haven't handled the shame, you haven't handled some of the things you went through in your past, and now you're judging, or now you're having now the relationship you're in right now is being held accountable through things that he or she has never done, right? And so because that person hurt you in your yesterday, you are missing out of that man of God or woman of God who's in your life today because you're judging them by that same experience when it's supposed to be innocent to proven guilty, right? But they're guilty now they have to prove that they're innocent, right? And so this is so true in many different aspects of life. Family, get rid of your roaches. Get rid of your roaches, my family. It is so important that we give attention to how we think, how we speak, and how we act. Right? Our tongue is powerful. It's like a udder. Udder. What is the thing? Not udder is a cow thing. It's like a rudder. Lord have mercy. And in a ship, you know what I'm saying? It helps steers us. It directs us. Book of James is clear about it. So listen. So as you are approaching this Thanksgiving, don't let this just be a day. Let this be a lifestyle. Have an attitude of gratitude. Be thankful. Get rid of your roaches, right? Clean house in you. Clean your house, your temple. You're the temple of the Holy Spirit. Clean it, family, and change your thinking because it's important. So as a man thinketh, so is he. That's what Scripture tells us, and it is so true, so true. So motivators, I hope that you have an absolute incredible and powerful day. Hope you have a productive day. And I hope as many of you are surrounding tables with friends and loved ones, or maybe you're in a season in your life where you don't even know where to go, I hope you get a phone call and invitation. But listen, beyond that, I want to encourage you to give attention to how you speak, how you act, so you don't miss out in your promised land because your tongue is keeping you in wilderness. Holla at y'all later, motivators. Make sure that you go to www.thisisyourchancebook.com and buy the book. I have shirts up there. I'm excited right now too. We're excited to send some of these books, as well as my Crown of Greater Than Trophies book, overseas to Baghdad, Iraq, to a military base there, and to help give some of the soldiers some books and reading material during their downtime. So I'm excited to be able to make a difference, and I appreciate your help doing that. So make sure you go. Make sure you go to the website. Again, it's thisisyourchancebook.com, and I believe it's going to be a great blessing to you. All right, motivators, holler at y'all later. Peace out.